Well, it's been another week. Where am I this week? Well, this week I'm still working that job, but I don't like it at all anymore. So on Monday they had me come in at 8 a.m. and of course I was exhausted, but I was there. They had nothing at all for me to do all day, so I was practically falling asleep, but I was still awake. But anytime I would lean back or relax or basically do anything besides sit up intently and stare at my computer in anticipation of calls that were not going to be coming in that day, they would fuss at me and yell at me for don't fall asleep. You need to stay awake. It's like, I know I'm kind of nodding off, but there's nothing to do today. So I made it through the day, though. They kind of let everyone go a little bit early that day, and I was happy to get home. Couldn't sleep well that night, and I was also coming down with some kind of stomach bug. I felt bad on Monday, but I really got sick on Tuesday. And I was up half the night, and I just could not go in. And it was not a decision that I really made lightly. I mean, I lose $144 when I don't go into work for a day. That's a lot of money when you're trying to dig yourself out of debt. And I just could not go in. I didn't think it was even safe to try to drive, and I half expected I would throw up on myself on the way down there. And on Tuesday, they had the audacity to call me and leave me an ugly, nasty message telling me that if I didn't come in, I might not have a job anymore. Which is ridiculous because I've never called out before, and I've never even been late. Don't think. I might have been late once by 1 minute, maybe. But I don't think I was late even then. I was just having trouble getting my badge to scan. Anyway, doesn't matter. Mad at him, and trying to figure out what to do. I've been having IHOP daily in the morning to get a big steak omelet because my days are just so long. I leave home at 8 a.m. I drive over to IHOP where I get myself breakfast, and IHOP has a free short stack if you fill out a survey and then bring the receipt back. Well, when you're going every day, you can do that every day. And so I have the big steak omelet for breakfast, and then I have the short stack and the side of pancakes that I get for lunch. So it's close to $15 a day, but you have to eat something somewhere, and it's a pretty good breakfast, and I have such long days, I feel like I really need it. So that's how I've been getting through my days. I did finish the shelf that I was working on for holding DVDs. So this, I think, has turned out okay. And I'm going to hang it up with some thumbtacks and fill it with DVDs. See, that's about how tall they are. It's just a little bit shorter than the DVD case itself, which is fine. That's kind of how it was designed. But until I have it on the wall, I won't know if I'll need something on the front or not, because I don't know if it's going to hang down and make them slide out. But we're going to find out. Worst case scenario, I'll just add that one little extra thing to hold it in place, but I think that would make it look bad, and it would also make it harder to put DVDs on the shelf, and if I don't need it, there's no reason to put it on. That's going well. I also went to the Renaissance Festival this weekend to try to pick myself up a little bit. Sarah was in town, and we traditionally go to the Renaissance Festival. Saturday morning, I had to go out and get my car repaired, and I was reminded why I don't use that dealer station, because I got it taken care of, and it took a good 2.5, 3 hours to get the airbag replaced. There had been a recall on it because in very rare instances it would go off and like fill the passenger side with shards of metal, and I didn't want to kill anyone that I cared about enough to be riding in my passenger seat. So I went out and I got it taken care of just because it's possible that it could be a problem, and I don't like taking that kind of risk with a car I'm planning to have for many years. I also got an oil change because I was 1,000 miles overdue. And just the attitude of the guy who was in charge of the mechanic's place, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've never heard of it being a problem." And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't trust your judgment anymore. Aren't you the same assholes who sold me a car with rotted tires and then refused to cut me a deal on the replacements that I needed literally right after I bought it? So I'll be going back to Firestone where they treat me right. And I went to the Renaissance Fair. I spent more than I probably should have, but not more than I could afford to. I got a couple of beard ornaments, which they're hair twisters, and I wear them when I'm dressing up a little bit. I also got myself a bowstring and some beeswax from the archery place, stick bow archery, and beeswax. I said I wasn't quite sure if I needed to wax it. They showed me told me how I would wax it, and showed me how to know if it needs wax. You can pull on the fibers, and if they don't stick together, then it needs to be waxed, and they told me you wax it while the bow is strung. So I'm going to be hopefully using my bow just a little bit more, because I've had this target for forever and I have yet to take it out and use it, but I plan to use it finally. Oh yeah, I also got tea. So I got a tea strainer and some fancy tea. This is my tea strainer. It fits inside a teacup. And then the tea goes in here so that you can make tea without having tea leaves in your tea. And I got little pouches of tea leaves, but none of them are labeled. Like, this is the Cantina tea package thing, but I don't know what kind of tea that is. Dead tree leaf tea, I guess. It's tea whatever it is, so I'm not too worried about it. I also bought a candle, which I don't think you can see at all, but it's Fairy Secrets it's a moisturizing lotion candle. The wax itself is a kind of lotion, and since I've been having so much trouble with dry, cracked fingers, and they hurt, and I've been trying to find something other than the oil-based lotion that is available, I decided to go ahead and pick that up while I was at the Renaissance Fair too. But it's another week this week. I'm going back into that stupid job this week. I'm applying for other jobs and trying to find work, but until I can find something else, there's no reason for me to quit, however much I feel like it. So I'm just going to try to suffer through it, be a responsible adult, and hopefully find some other work, because I'm going to try to put out 2 or 3 resumes before I go to bed tonight. So we'll see if I can escape call center hell or not. But I'm at least going to try struggling and rattling my cage.